What is going on, guys? It's your boy Dyllan and welcome back to another Destiny video. Today I'm going to be going over one of my Sunbreaker PvE builds. So for all you Titans out there, again, finally got another proper decent Sunbreaker build coming into the mix. So first of all, let's just go over the subclass. So we'll just jump straight into it. So Sunbreaker is obviously the subclass we're going to be using. Now for me, I like to go with Thermite Grenades just because of how they work, and obviously I'll be showing you this in a few minutes, also once I go over the build. For the jump, I like to use increased control because of Titan skating. It is by far the best jump for the Titan if you know how to Titan skate. I do actually have a Titan skating guide on my channel if you want to go and learn how to Titan skate. That's a lot of Titan skatings right there. But for the super, I like to use Scorched Earth, so this ignites the world, creating sunspots everywhere your Hammer of Salt impacts. Really useful when obviously all the other perks on the build come into play. Then for the melee, Thermal Vent, Sunstrike releases a solar explosion on hit. Kills create a sunspot that damages enemies inside. So these two work obviously in pair. Then I like Titan Codex 1 for armor and recovery. Then use Explosive Pyro, so enemies felled by your hammer explode, chaining fiery solar damage to others. Pretty self-explanatory, just makes it obviously a lot easier to get more kills. If you kill an enemy with your hammer, they're going to explode into other enemies, and they're going to explode into more enemies. It's just a chain reaction, and it makes it really nice to play. Then for Titan Codex 5, again, just for more recovery, for max armor recovery on my Titan. And then for the last perk, I like to use Firekeeper. While standing in a sunspot, you gain an overshield and Hammer of Salt lasts longer. So 3 perks working together, which is Firekeeper, Thermal Vent and Scorched Earth, as that is obviously the gist of the build, is to use the sunspots. Absolutely hilarious build to use at times. As far as armor goes, you could use multiple exotics. For me, I like to use Armamentarium or the Twilight Garrison. Twilight Garrison if I'm trying to speed run and try and get through things really quickly. Armamentarium if I'm just playing solo and I'm just wanting an extra grenade just to throw obviously down at the floor, because those Thermite Grenades are insanely good, which I'll be showing you in a second. And like I say, as for weapons, you can pretty much pair any weapons with this that you want. Because it's solo burn and specialist this week, I was just using Icebreaker and Haze and Vengeance and my Fatebringer roll and Margot Loop. Anyway, let's get into some gameplay showcasing this bad boy off. So getting into some of the advantages and disadvantages of actually using this build, how it plays out, do I like it, do I not like it, so on and so forth. So basically I've actually been trying to come up with a sunspot build for about 3 weeks, and I've actually just finally settled on this build that you're watching. Took me quite a while to find sort of like an exotic armor piece that I really like to try using the Immolation Fists at one point, but I didn't really feel like I needed the tracking on my hammers. It was just sort of pointless, so I went off for something else as well, and I tried multiple things, and I finally set on Armamentarium with double Thermite Grenades. Now Thermite Grenades, what you'll see obviously in coming up gameplay, are insanely good. You can use them to spawn trap enemies in doorways, or you can just use them for just base DPS basically. Every single blast that the Thermite Grenade sends out, it will stun the enemy as well, which makes it really nice to use in that certain situation. As far as the actual sunspots go, I was actually quite surprised with how much damage they deal, and how long your hammer can last if you stand in the sunspot. And the overshield as well is a lifesaver. Like, it can actually save your life at times. There were so many times where I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. But luckily I managed to get the sunspot on the floor, stand in it, get the overshield, and I managed to actually clutch it out. So definitely overshield from the sunspots is a great benefit indeed. Another thing that I actually really do like is just how big the sunspots are. I actually didn't think they would have been as big as they actually are. I thought they were going to be like really small and sort of pointless to use, but surprisingly enough they're actually pretty decent. So this was like one of the first ever times I'd ever tried using my sunspot build. Usually I just go for the increased amount of hammers you can throw, or sometimes I'll use sun charge if like a brawler and airborne or something's on. But I never really have tried sunspots before. Like I say, overall, really surprised with how good they are. And, it's a nice change of pace of gameplay and style. I feel like it works very well, obviously, if you're a bit more of a distance player, something with like a scout rifle or a sniper rifle. So it definitely does suit a little bit more people that like to play a little bit of a slower pace, because you're not like skating all over the place and flying around. You just sort of pop your hammer, stand still, and then throw them all, and then that's sort of the super gone. Getting into the things that I didn't like about this build. Now, Granted, it's not so much about the build, it's just the exotic armor piece. Now for me, when I play Titan, I use Twilight Garrison pretty much 24/7. Obviously if you've been watching my channel a while now, you already know that, but I absolutely love Twilight Garrison. It saves my life at so many situations, it's crazy. So for me, I'd probably end up switching out to Twilight Garrison, just obviously so I could remain comfortable in playing the class, because there were certain times where I'd sort of jump and then I'd be spamming B to sort of double thrust forward in my Twilight Garrison, and I'd obviously completely miss. But this is the Thermite Grenades that I'm showing you on screen right now. Basically threw two of them, so I had Armamentarium on, and that just shows you basically how they function. But they actually do deal a lot of damage as well. Like I said, they also stun enemies every single blast and hit they do. So they're extremely useful, can lock off hallways and tight spaces, so definitely recommend giving them a go. Another disadvantage is just being blinded by the sunspot. Like, if you stand in the sunspot, at times you can't see anything, which was quite annoying to be fair, but you know, it's part of the class, it's part of the way it is, and I feel like if you could just see perfectly, I feel like it might be a little bit too, not broken, but I feel like it would be a little bit too strong to use. Obviously that's one of the trade-offs with it as well, I feel. Was really getting an overshield and everything. But that's pretty much it for disadvantages. There's not really anything about the build that makes it so much to where like I don't like playing it and it's just completely pointless in using. It's a great build, again, extremely fun. If you're a Titan, definitely recommend trying it. Thank you so much for watching this build, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.